If you want to improve your gameplay in COD Mobile, you need to learn the proper movement. And if you watch my videos, then you probably already know that I talked about how important movements are in many of my previous videos. And that's why today we're going over some pro movements you need to learn in order to improve your gameplay. Now this guide will take you through every pro movements and teach you exactly how to do them. So grab your snacks and let's get started. Now a powerful movement that not a lot of people know about is slide baiting. Basically in this movement, you turn to the opposite direction and make a slide, and then you turn back and make a jump. When you're doing this movement, your enemy is going to aim towards the direction you're sliding, and they're not going to expect you to jump right back and kill them. You can also use this movement when you see an enemy coming in and they're going to think that you're running away, but in reality, you're just baiting them. I never see a lot of players using this movement, so this one is going to be pretty powerful. Slide peeking is a very powerful movement for search and destroy, which is used by many pro players. Now this right here is the safest way to peek a corner to gather information about the enemy. There is literally no way that you're going to die if you peek like this, because you're going to be back to your cover before the enemy even knows it. And it's quite simple to do this movement. All you got to do is make a slide and then do a 180 and jump. And while you're in the air, you have to gather information about where the enemy is, and before you even know it, you're going to be back to your cover. Most people peek like this, which has a pretty high chance of you getting killed, and overall it's not a good idea to do this. Compared to that, slide peeking is way safer and it gives you enough information in a very short time. Now while it is important to peek for information, peeking for a gunfight is more common in this game, and that's where jump peeking comes in. Now when you're playing respawns, you need to be hard to track, and this movement does exactly that. Having the ability to be unpredictable when peeking will throw off the aim of your enemy and give you a higher chance of winning the gunfight. And when you're jump peeking from the side of a wall, your enemy is not going to expect you to have such a high momentum, and the chances are you're going to win the fight. And this one is pretty easy to do. All you gotta do is make a slide and then jump as you're peeking into the enemy. It's a pretty simple but very powerful movement that gives you a nice advantage. And by the way, I also recommend using this app to make your movements more smoother. This app will reduce the latency on your connection and make sure that you don't have any delays when you're doing your movement, because having a bad connection will affect your movement by a very big amount. I'll leave the link of this app on the description for you to try it out the next time you're playing, so make sure to give it a try. A lot of you might know strafing is a powerful movement to use in close quarter combat, and you're absolutely right. Like a lot of other games, strafing is a movement you need to use in COD Mobile. This movement makes you harder to track, which means your enemy will have a hard time shooting you, which will increase the chance of you winning the fight. Besides, you can also add things like crouching to your strafes to make your enemy even more confused. Just make sure that you're not strafing too fast, because it's basically going to be the same thing as standing still. A common movement used by many Asian players is the Garena zigzag. Now this movement is mainly used to make you harder to hit by the enemy, and it's really useful when you're low in HP and you're escaping to a safe place, or you can use this against snipers to ruin their aim and make you harder to hit. Now here's how to do this movement. First, you need to move your joystick left and right like this. And then you want to start slowly moving your camera like you can see on the screen. Just make sure you're not being too fast with the camera. And that is basically how you do this movement. It's a very simple but very powerful movement technique you need to use the next time you're playing. And also make sure to watch this video to learn about the best sensitivity in COD Mobile. In that video, I talked about every single sensitivity in the game, so I'm sure that you're gonna find that video helpful. Your sensitivity goes hand in hand with your movement, so I highly recommend watching that video. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.